Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Golden Hour. I'm Kelly Woodman.
And I'm Leah Catherine Williams. Well, we have been doing some research and checking into different states to see what they've been doing to help their citizens get through this pandemic, economic-wise, and we've been very impressed. In particular, Rhode Island has been doing some very creative things with Google. In fact, they announced the other day that they are partnering with Google Cloud to create a virtual career center. What that is a kind of a first of its kind. They're calling it a career matching bot, where people who are unemployed can go into this career center and search for a job. And the resources that Google is providing is going to make their career search even better. And they're using AI and all these really fancy technical things that I don't really understand.
Yeah.
But to open up more resources, and it's more of like a matching. So it kind of increases their chances of finding a job that matches their skill set, and also providing them with additional resources to gain new skills. So I was really impressed by that. Google is just blowing my mind right now.
That is really cool. I mean, especially since it's the first of the kind. It made me sit and wonder when I was doing research about it too, that would this have even happened if the pandemic was happening? I don't know, because there wouldn't have been a need for it. So it's just kind of really cool that out of a hard time, people are creating a new way to figure out how to get people jobs and get the ball rolling again.
Yeah.
And something I think they'll be able to use for years to come.
Yes. And I am a huge fan of Rhode Island. I don't know if you've seen the movie Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson, but it takes place in Rhode Island. And I don't know if you've noticed from my clothes, but I'm a New England nerd, and
I love that. I've never been, and I really want to go.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love Newport, Rhode Island, and it's so great. So, I mean, Rhode Island is the smallest state, I think, in the nation, right?
I think you're right. I think that makes sense. I'm not sure.
We haven't fact checked that, but
yeah, we gotta look it up.
But yes, I just love that. And the governor of Rhode Island is the one that made this initiative, and it's called Get Back to Work RI, and it's really impressive. So, and another note is Google is also helping with Nevada as well.
Yeah. Google has also partnered with the state of Nevada alongside Lithium Nevada Corps on building projects. This will result in a $1.1 billion investment and the creation of 5,300 construction jobs and 163 permanent jobs.
I mean, look at Google.
I mean, that is just awesome. They're just getting in there and helping people with the pandemic. I mean, that is just awesome. I mean, as we do more research with different states, I hope that we just keep finding more cool things.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing because, if you think about building projects and job creation, construction jobs, it doesn't, they're not permanent jobs, but they are, it's money in your pocket. And it's just amazing what happens. I think you can hear of these big, giant, mega companies building these projects all over the place, and it can sound kind of daunting and maybe a little bit negative, but really if you look at the side of, the jobs that it creates, it has a whole different spin to it,
Well, and, you can always use a resume builder. I mean, it could just be the push that someone needs on their resume to get to that next part of their career.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar with Lithium Nevada Corp, but they will also be providing 163 permanent jobs in Nevada as well. So it's part of this big initiative with both of the companies to bring jobs to Nevada. So
that is awesome.
Yes. And so viewers, if you live in a state that's doing something super creative to provide jobs during this pandemic, reach out to us. We want to know about it.
Yes. People and entrepreneurs are still finding hope in the midst of this pandemic. According to small business startup Sentiment Index, anticipated business startups for 3 months out have reached an all-time high. Even in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, small business startups are still being fought for. The September survey indicated that, quote, the pandemic increased their interest in controlling their own destiny through business ownership, unquote. Wow, I mean, that's just so cool.
I love it. I'm not surprised, though. I mean, people have been homebound and had a chance to really rethink their lives. And coming from New York, there's a lot of very toxic work environments, and I feel like people were able to get out of those environments and be at home and not be around that toxic employee. And be
It's
able
like
to.
a wake-up
It's a
call.
wake-up call. It's like, wait, I don't want this.
Yep.
And, I'm just so thankful to hear that. I don't know. I'm just really excited to hear about the amazing things that are going to come out of this. And I think we're all still in the midst of it. It's kind of hard to see the forest for the trees, but I just know people are getting through it and they are creating these amazing things out of nothing. I mean, the Paycheck Protection Loan, I heard from a friend who is kind of in this investment world, and he was saying that investors are actually ready to fund some of these businesses because they know that people are pivoting and they're creating new things. And I think I've just heard a lot from the past, like that's what happened during the 2008 housing crisis and the recession. Then actually a lot of businesses came out of that. And I like to consider myself an entrepreneur. Well, we are starting this show and I've been running my own freelance business for a long time, but this is actually the time for entrepreneurs to really shine, because when you start a business, you really are working from nothing.
Yep.
And it's actually so motivating.
And this pandemic, this pandemic is perfect for it because a lot of people lost their jobs. People are having to realize their dreams. What do I really want to do in this world? And the stats are showing that people are waking up and they want to pursue their dreams and they're ready. Yeah. And I just think that's really encouraging. I mean, that could be you. Are you looking at this thinking, I'm one of those people, I'm ready to start my business? Yeah. I just think that's really encouraging. And we'd love to hear about it if it is you.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. So, and look, the stats are in your favor right now. So be encouraged. This is the time to do it. Why not? If not when, if not now, when?
Exactly.
Yes. In other news, there's actual peace in the Middle East right now. Libya has agreed to a permanent national ceasefire effective immediately. After Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown in 2011, Libya has struggled to maintain peace due to lack of a stable government. Libya is located in North Africa and is the fourth largest country in that continent and is predominantly Muslim. They also have the 10th largest oil reserves of any country in the world. Though there is still a lot of work to be done, this is a crucial step in their recovery. The UN is now working towards maintaining peace in Yemen, Afghanistan, Armenia, and Azerbaijan.
Wow, that's really encouraging. And honestly, I feel like this news gets buried in the media a lot, but it really should be in the forefront.
Yes, it's a big deal. And honestly, I didn't really know much about Libya until today. And I was looking up online trying to understand where they came from and where they are today. And they actually used to be a monarchy.
Oh, yeah. I think I knew that.
Yes. And then Muammar Gaddafi overthrew the government to take over. And he was, this crazy guy. And then he was overthrown in 2011, which we all, I know we've all heard stories about that in the media in the past. I didn't really stay on top of it then. I didn't really understand that, but this is a big deal, and the UN is working very hard right now to bring a ceasefire to any world wars because of coronavirus. They're just trying to get people to
a big deal.
Chill out and just let's just figure out how to fix this one problem we all have, this global problem, and let's stop fighting. And so it's a really big deal that they did that, and but they are calling on everyone to come help them move forward because they've just had so much unrest because they haven't really had anyone in charge running their country. And that's what the war has been about. Yeah. So we've actually been doing a lot of research with PR Newswire. That's where we get a lot of our stories. So Plug to PR Newswire is where a lot of companies and the UN, NASA put their press releases where they want everyone to know about what they're doing. And so we've been doing a lot of research every day to find these stories that you've mentioned are buried in the media. And that's where I came on to this, where it was just the UN put this word out. And so, and a lot of other news outlets are covering it. But specifically, I think it's important to bring this to our show because peace in the Middle East has been something that we've wanted for so long. Yeah.
And hopefully it can be long lasting. Hopefully this is the time when they start to find the peace, the leadership that they need. That's the hope.
Yes. And so, there's still a lot of work to be done. And, they did mention in the article that this isn't towards terrorist organizations because UN does not have a partnership with them. The UN has a partnership with Libya. So they were able to do that, broker that deal. So anyway, but that is good news. It is very good news. And we will be following that moving forward with this show and bringing that up and sharing progress in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And we will be educating ourselves more and understanding that and be able to bring that to you and help everyone understand the importance of these things and just looking for peace.
Sounds good to me. So, as we have been doing research of what companies and people have been doing in 2020 and all that's been going on, we have been finding that a lot of big companies are doing really great giving campaigns and just huge chunks of money going towards places. So last week, Morgan Stanley pledged $12 million towards 60 full scholarships for African American college students enrolled at Spelman Morehouse College and Howard University over the next 4 years. I mean, that is just incredible.
Yes, actually in the press release, it really called out that the Black community has just been underserved in this area and opportunities. And so Morgan Stanley just stepped in and decided, hey, we want to do something about it. And hopefully this would just spur on more big banks and big businesses seeing what they're doing and saying, hey, well, I want to come behind them and give 60 more scholarships. And, it's really amazing. And it's just cool because I just feel like there's been actually a trend of that. Like I mentioned earlier, we look at PR Newswire for good news, and we do have to hunt. Yeah. It doesn't mean there's not good news going on, but there's just a lot of stuff in there, like all kinds of things going on in the world. And so, but I've just been seeing more and more, and I don't know if you guys follow our Instagram feed, but we do feature news stories in the stories section of Instagram, and we've posted some of those on there as well. So if you don't follow us. I believe it's the Golden Hour News or Golden Hour News, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's just been really encouraging to see that. And these $1 million companies are saying, hey,
we should do something.
We need to be doing this.
And we need to do it now. So.
Yes. Also, PepsiCo has partnered with the National Urban League to create jobs in a Black restaurant accelerator. And a couple of facts about that. It will boost approximately 500 Black-owned businesses over the next 5 years. Black entrepreneurs have long faced systemic barriers to growth, including access to loans and capital, biased community perceptions, and gentrification challenges. PepsiCo Foundation is providing a $10 million grant to fund the program as a part of their $400 million commitment to advance racial equality within the company.
Well, that is just excellent. I just love their awareness and how much they care and their heart and even a long-term goal to keep giving.
Mm-hmm. Yes, especially in calling out the gentrification challenges too.
Yeah.
And, I really look forward to hearing the stories in the restaurants. I look forward to going to some of these restaurants and seeing what this accelerator produces. I'm a big fan of accelerators for startups. Yeah. It's what an accelerator is, guys, is basically you apply to get into accelerators. I don't know what this one is going to be about, but basically it's a community for people who want to start businesses. So if you're looking to start a business, accelerators accept you, and then they become kind of an investor in your business, and you create this community with other people who are starting up, and you get a lot of resources and mentors to help you along your way. So basically they might provide legal services, finances, and really I've actually done some consulting with some accelerators, so that's why I have a lot to say about it. But
that's cool.
But
would Shark Tank be considered an accelerator?
No, they're more investors, but so basically what you do when you are an accelerator, you prepare for pitch day. And so you get together. I'm actually a pitch deck designer on the side note. And what you need to do to get into something like a Shark Tank is put together a pitch deck. Okay. Pitch deck is a PowerPoint presentation that's usually about 10 to 15 slides presenting about your business, financial projections, what you're doing, maybe some competitive slides of how they compare the competition. So anyway, that's a side note, going on a tangent there, but just to explain what an accelerator looks like. And so this is specifically for Black-owned businesses. So I'm not positive, but I feel like it's not just, well, it is the Black Restaurant Accelerator. So anyway.
Well, that's really cool. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, cool for PepsiCo, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, that's great. Due to COVID-19, businesses and people have had to get creative to ensure needs are met and businesses can still thrive. A digital platform called Pillar launched last week to make it easier for people to organize and store their family's most important information safely online, even if each family is miles apart. Wow, that's really cool. I mean, so many people, especially ones with older relatives and loved ones, that is what COVID-19 is hitting the hardest right now. And so to have this platform where they can easily upload all of their health information, doctor's appointments, things that are vital for them, and family members have access to it and are able to share it around, and it's on a secure location, and they don't even have to, get together. They don't have to be at the nursing home, causing any risks. They can make sure it's all taken care of online. I mean, that's probably just a huge weight off their shoulders.
Yes, and I actually read that the founder, it's a personal problem. Usually these companies are birthed out of something that you're trying to solve for yourself.
That makes sense.
And he was sharing, there's a quote in the press release that his mom had an autoimmune issue, disease, I believe, and he teamed up with his sisters to, help her. And so he was like, there's no secure way to share these really important documents, and so I can imagine, especially taking care of an older one who, maybe doesn't have all the digital files like we might have. They probably still have things by paper everywhere piled up. So, having a secure place to put all those things and securely share, and really to know, like, it's not going to get hacked into. I just love it. I just love people just,
getting creative and
it doesn't affect me right now today, but the fact that this exists and it's for families to just rest easy when it comes down to even things like that. And I just love that we live in a world where we're like, hey, there's a need, let me fix it.
Yeah, I think that is just so fantastic.
Yes. And another news about really cool products that have been coming out of this. Also, Google getting a little more, I don't know what I'm going to say, cheerleading from us, I guess. They are like headlining our show here.
I know. They just keep doing good things. I got to report it.
But they have teamed up with Skipify. And can you tell me about Skipify, by the way? I don't really know much about it. I'm not sure
much about it. I learned about it from this news release. They made it to where if you get, Old Navy, any of your favorite shopping brands come up in your email, they've made it to where you can shop right there in your email. And you don't even have to leave the email. Almost sounds so oversimplified, but they found that if people have it as simple as possible, they're more likely to make the sale. For right now with COVID-19, nobody can go to the stores in a lot of states. And so shopping brands are ecstatic about this because they're going to be able to make more sales right there in the email because people can't come in.
And retail has just been hit hard. Yeah. And one of the hardest things with email marketing is it's relying on someone to click. We do a lot of emails with our business, and at least in some of I've worked as a marketing consultant as well, and getting someone to click is so low. Usually it's like below 5% because we get so many emails. When you think about the consumer side, how many emails you get in your inbox.
I mean, if I don't stay on top of it every day, it gets to be a lot.
Yes. And so I think this is so innovative. So how does it work? I guess we need to read up about it.
I probably need to read more, but it just simply said that Skipify and Gmail have come together to make it to where, if there's a sale going on, they'll send it to your email and you can literally shop right there in the sale, add it to your cart, use your card, and have it mailed to your door right there without ever clicking out of your email.
It also sounds very dangerous.
I know. I'm like, wow, I may shop more because of this.
Usually I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, that looks cute. And my self-control is a little bit lower waking up in the morning.
Just throw in free shipping and you've got me.
Yeah. Now free shipping. I know. Amazon They just decided that we all had to do that. I think
I
everybody
know.
has
And
to
now
like
everybody's
offer it now.
standards are
Yeah.
really high. You got to have that free
Yeah.
shipping. $30 more for free shipping? Okay.
I know, right? I'll buy something just so I don't have to pay an extra $3
I
and I
know.
spend
It's
more
really
than
silly,
$3. But I'm
honestly.
like, it's like a prize. You're like, I made it. I
I
got
made
it.
it to free shipping.
Yes. I also heard that Walmart is they're doing their own version of like Amazon too. So
They are.
I
I've heard of
guess
that. They
yeah.
they have like a free 2-day shipping deal if you
Hmm.
get an account with them.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of shopping on Walmart actually. Like I am, doing like Amazon type orders,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're great. They're just as good as Amazon.
Well,
So
they're just as big, so
yeah,
that works.
yeah. And well, leading into that, we are going to go to our interview portion of tonight, and we actually are interviewing someone who has invented something during the pandemic. It's a friend of mine, Emily Merrell. She runs a networking society called 6 Degrees Society. It's predominantly for women. Some men come as well, but she has just reinvented this. It's actually an events business, and it was all in-person events. And then
Mm.
COVID hit, and bam, she had to pivot her business. And let me tell you, she has pivoted well, and she's enjoying it. Talk about someone who
I
has
love
made
that.
lemonade out of lemons.
Yep.
Anyway, here we go. Enjoy the interview. Hey, everybody. We are here with Emily Merrell. And if you watched our first episode, we interviewed her sister, Allison Merrell. And they just come from this amazing entrepreneur family. And Emily runs a networking society, which I actually was a part of in New York City. And it's called 6 Degrees Society. And we invited her on the show because she has successfully pivoted an events business in the middle of 2020. And I don't know if you know, but that's amazing. And we wanted her to talk about it and what she did. And she truly just made lemonade out of lemons during this season. And she's loving it. So, Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I see this is a silver lining of pandemics. We get to be in a virtual talk show. This never would have come to be if a pandemic hadn't happened. But yeah, I so second, like I love every moment of pivoting my events in person. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Well, can you explain to our audience a little bit about 6 Degrees?
Sure. So 6 Degrees Society is a female-focused networking organization. What started off as an in real life organization, starting in New York City, expanded to 10 markets across the country. And on March 13th, I got the notification that we had to cancel our upcoming events. And I remember starting to receive like a plethora of text messages from people apologizing and pitying me and telling me how sad they felt for me, how if you guys know me or if you want to do some digging, you can check last year was a hard year. It was my, we got married, we got evacuated by a fire, our house burned down, there was a death in our family. It was just like a lot of stuff. I'm getting these text messages from friends and people who don't know me that well, and they're telling me how bad they feel that, and now your events business is broken. Like, I'm so sorry that this all happened to you. I'm sitting on my couch looking at my husband, hysterically laughing, like, why are they feeling bad for me? There's nothing bad about this. Like, it's telling me to sit in place and to kind of get outside of my own self-importance of needing to be on a plane and traveling all the time. And I had been having this desire, I'd harbored this desire for a very long time to pivot virtually. And it always seemed super complicated to me. Like, I needed to get a camera crew in and all of the panels would be recorded, and then would people even be interested in purchasing them, like pre-recorded, that it never dawned on me to look at Zoom and to look at what's right in front of us, so to speak. And so I put up my very first event. I used myself as the subject matter. I was teaching how to network like a pro event. So if no one showed up, it wouldn't be embarrassing to the speakers. And miraculously, a lot of my members that had left New York City and our surrounding markets, including Leah here, they all signed up. And so it was or Ali, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you Leah. Leah, I know your name. It's always hard with the and so they came in and they signed up from like Austin and Denver and places where we didn't have existing chapters. And ultimately, we were able to pivot all of our already existing programming and give the speakers an opportunity at the time to postpone to either in person, which ultimately led to digital because in person didn't happen, and grow our awareness and our following. And the funniest part about it is, if you're not very familiar with Zoom has breakout rooms available and built into the software. And the first 8 events that I hosted, I had no idea, no clue about the capability. So I was having everyone type in their cell phone number and call each other and FaceTime while putting their cameras on mute. And then I would unmute myself and bring everyone back to the room. And a dear guy, a gentleman friend of mine was like, don't you know about breakout rooms? And at that moment on, it was a game changer, because what we do at all of our events is we handpick who you meet while networking. So I pre-match who you're meeting, and I put you in person and virtually in a one-on-one for 15 minutes. The challenges of in-person is then I have to get that person from that in-person one-on-one to another one. And it's like herding cats. Like, okay, ladies, all right, on to your next connection, come on. And I ultimately am like dragging people to the next person. Virtually, I can do everything with the touch of a closed breakout room button and then whisk them away into their next room. So not only has it saved me a lot of energy and a lot of nagginess for them, but it's also been an opportunity for individuals across the country to connect with one another and deepen relationships and friendships and knowledge, rather than me taking the same speaker and reinventing it across all the country, the whole country. But yeah, it's been a really beautiful thing. And truthfully, my favorite thing about it is my events start on time and they end on time. And the commute time is very, very small.
Yes. I love it. Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that's really cool. I just love that out of, what could have been frustrating ended up being really nice, because you can have it in a nice clean box and it's very predictable.
Totally. And I thought, one of the things I've been told over the years, which I still really pride myself in, is that we host our events in really neat spaces. Like we'll introduce cool event venues, clothing stores, co-working spaces. We've experienced, I was meeting with a member recently who just moved to San Francisco, and she was like, oh my God, I'd never heard of this brand until you, or this alcohol partner, or this food partner. But then once you take that away, like, they're there for the connections and they're there for the speakers as well. So that was more kind of the icing on the cake, to have the cool venue and the cool experience built into it. But having, being able to replicate the connections and being able to replicate still extraordinary speakers that we otherwise may have had to fly in or made more of like a production out of it, it's been so doable, and more people are inclined to say yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can attest to the in-person events. You are a brilliant matchmaker. Now, again, these are events for mostly women. Do you still do some like co-ed stuff, or are you just only women now?
We pivoted it to say female focused. So while we are predominantly female led, we do have men who are welcome in, and they're the ones that don't fit are definitely self-selected out, but the ambassadors are also truly advocates of women, and like hoping to both better their connections with with that community and helping promote them forth. Usually photographers, truthfully. The men that come are men photographers, male photographers.
Well, you've just paired me up with some amazing women. I just met people who I normally wouldn't meet. I mean, going to networking events in person is terrifying, and you coming up with this idea to pair people up is truly amazing. And I we did a podcast with Lexi Smith, who you paired me up with when I did that event, and we were on a podcast with her because you set us up with her.
I think thank you for saying that. I think the thing that's so cool is, like, you want to ask to be on something, or maybe you want that opportunity, and by making that connection, it's kind of removed all the BS of like vetting the person, and it's allowed you to go to that next entry point of working together or doing some sort of collaboration with one another. And if I can't sing, I can't dance, and the one talent I can do in this world is connect, like I sleep pretty well at night.
Well, you have a true talent for it.
Next life, Yenta.
All right.
Jewish matchmaker.
And also I'd love the audience to hear about your coaching business too.
Yeah, for sure. So some other beautiful pandemic problems that came out is that everyone wanted to start a business. And I started my coaching practice about 3 years ago now. And it was completely accidental. I truly love giving advice and brainstorming things with people. And it just got to the point where I could help them if we continuously met with one another. So this pandemic, I've been able to coach so many more people than I would have ever realistically had the bandwidth to handle. I've been able to host more events than I've ever realistically been able to handle because of not commuting across town and grocery shopping and all the things. And we also launched a mastermind. And the mastermind was something that I had a vision of doing, but it was down there on the 5-year plan. And again, virtually, we're able to have, if you're not familiar with the mastermind, it's 10 individuals in one virtual room, and everyone gets the chance to be on the hot seat. So while I'm facilitating and I'm also coaching, I'm not necessarily the 100% expert on everything. Like, you ladies could brainstorm for me in my business. So each person gets to express their problem and their challenges and be asked clarifying questions. And then you're on mute for 3 minutes and everyone is just brain dumping all of their ideas about your business. Like, oh, you should collaborate with this person. You should connect with this individual. Have you thought about this? And you're like scribbling notes about it. So that was something that was born out of the pandemic, and we're launching our second cohort for January and are halfway full already, which is so cool to like have something to look forward to by the end of this year.
I love it. Well, audience, there you have it. Somebody who has pivoted their business. She could have just said, I'm done. I'm quitting life. This is terrible. Like all of her friends assumed she was going to just never get out of her bed. But she did. She got off that couch and she did something. And she went over to her desk and put on her sweats and ran her business. So
showered less.
Anybody can.
I'm taking water. Like, look at all the benefits.
I mean, you didn't have to go far, and you just turned it, you're drinking lemonade now. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, spiked sometimes.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes. And it doesn't matter what time it is.
I do have a wine events budget now. I've subscribed to a few wine clubs, and I'm like, oh, well, that's my wine events budget for
off.
Yeah, supporting local.
I love it. Well, thanks again for being on our show, and audience, look out for her other interview that we did just to hear more about her background. And if you are looking for networking opportunities and you're a lady or you are a photographer, man, or we fit in that bubble, then you should go to her events. And that's it. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that was really fun. I had a lot of fun getting to chat with Emily. She is just someone I think is very inspirational because, COVID-19 did not keep her down. She immediately jumped into figuring out how to get all her business online, and it's been thriving and even been better. And like she said, it's been easier to do time-wise of all the meetings and keeping everyone on track and it flowing really well. I find that really encouraging.
Yes. And all by, being able to wear whatever you want.
Yeah, at your home.
I mean, I feel like somebody needs to invent like coronavirus pants, which I guess would probably just be underwear.
I did see an ad for work pants. I did see an ad for yoga pants, leggings, work pants. So they look like work pants, but they have the fit and feel of yoga pants.
So as long as Zoom can detect that you're not wearing real pants, you could pretty much wear whatever.
You can do what you want.
I mean, I think that's 2020 fashion show. That would be a funny episode, which is basically like
things
I
that came out
hair
of
in 3 days.
Yeah,
and I actually been changing my outfits a lot during the day because I'm like, who cares? I'm not getting it dirty, and like so I'll just wash my clothes more because I'm like,
Or on the other hand,
Yeah.
I store it on the gray chair in my room and do the smell check and wear it again because no one knows.
Well, I might know. I would tell you if you smell. But you smell
That's
like
good. I sweat roses, so.
Oh, really? Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I sweat tulips then.
Tulips are my favorite flower, actually.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, anyway, yeah, maybe we'll do a 2020. No,
Fashion-
no one wants
no,
to see
no one
that.
wants to watch that.
No, nobody wants to
wants
see
to
that.
watch that.
Actually, before we go, I do have a fun game you can play on Zoom. I'm sure we're all so tired of the Zoom calls, but
Yes.
we still kind of have to do them. I did this event earlier this year, and we had a Zoom fashion show. So basically, it's better if you have a group, but yeah, it's really funny. So basically, one person gets up, and it all has to be impromptu. Don't tell people in advance there's going to be a fashion show. It's better for people to wear whatever they're wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
And nobody, and then you kind of people find out that you're wearing whatever you're wearing, and
Hopefully you're wearing pants.
hopefully you're wearing pants. So anyway, so the person stands up while you're on your Zoom call, and you just model the clothes, and somebody else in the group gets to be the commentator and commenting on what you're wearing. You know,
That sounds fun. I like that.
yeah, and then they get to pick the song too. So it is so funny. I everybody was laughing at that. So,
Yeah, that's entertaining.
yeah.
I like that.
So anyway, but don't tell them. Don't give them a heads up because people will show up looking awesome. But it's more funny if
It's funny if they don't know.
they don't know in advance. So I'm sure you could probably Google that game, but I saw it on a list of like ideas for Zoom party games.
I like it.
But anyway, that's our show, guys. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Yeah.